Hello, fellas.
Welcome back to the Fallbar Baseball Show, Kissimmee, Florida edition.
Tortellini
We've got some tortellini made by Ethan Crump, who's currently sunbathing behind us. Shout out to Ethan Crump. We're here on spring break for baseball. We got a film podcast. We're going to be here talking about the AL West and the NL West for the next little bit. And yeah, we hope you enjoy this remote set. I kind of wish we could do it here every day.
Yeah, seriously.
Because it's really nice. The weather's good. The sun is shining. Yeah. There's a pool behind us. Maybe they could hear the running water. That would be that'd kind of be a nice background.
Yeah, it would be a nice background.
But anyway, Ryan, we have done the East. We have done the Central.
Yep.
The AL and the NL West. Let's start in the American League, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all.
And let's start in Texas, because I think those are the two most important teams here.
Yeah, I totally agree.
The Houston Astros are definitely going to look a little bit different. Kyle Tucker's gone. Alex Bregman is gone. Ryan Presley is gone. Justin Verlander is gone. They've got a decent amount of pitching depth gone. They have a new corner infield in Christian Walker and Isaac Paredes, excuse me.
They've got Luis Guillorme.
So
that's legend.
So the Astros are maybe not the Astros of old, I'm afraid.
No, I mean, the Astros are definitely trying to rebrand themselves in some form. I'm not quite sure how happy I'd be about it as a fan with what they've done and who they've traded away and who they've brought back. But, I mean, Bregman was awesome for what he was, but I think they made the right move not paying him as much as they did. We still have to remember that the Astros are somewhat of a low market team, even though they compete every year.
They have not paid their free agents.
No.
Like, that's why they traded Tucker. Right. Bregman's gone, Springer's gone, Correa's gone.
Right.
That's how they operate.
Yeah. So getting Christian Walker for cheap is a massive move, and then trading for Paredes, who fits that ballpark perfectly, trading for Wesneski, who will provide some pitching depth. It's a different look, and it's going to have to sort itself out a little bit, but I think it could work really well for them. I don't think you're going to see a 100-win Astros team by any stretch of the imagination, but I think you're definitely probably going to see another playoff team.
I think playoffs is more likely than not.
Yeah, I think
agree. Winning the AL West is still within the realm of possibility, too.
Yeah, I mean, this division isn't like, albeit like
good.
Insane. So, and they have Cam Smith now, who is probably going to work his way up to being a top 5 prospect by the end of the season.
He's a dude. An interesting storyline is Jose Altuve in left field, which might be the way it happens this year.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It just might be the way it happens. He's not been a good second baseman. With the Crawford boxes, you kind of can hide him out there. And also the other thing it does is it gives Yordan Alvarez more DH days.
Yeah.
And it kind of protects his body because he's had some struggles putting together full seasons so far. And you kind of need him in the lineup. He's one of the best hitters in all of baseball.
Yeah. Their next best option per Fangraphs is Ben Gamel as of right now. So it's basically you're throwing Yordan out there in left field and Altuve at second, or you're throwing Ben Gamel in the outfield and you're moving Marcio Dubon out of the lineup and putting Altuve at second.
And they didn't get Luis Guillorme for nothing.
No, they didn't.
Second base.
He can play second base. He should play second base. He's awesome. He's freaking cool.
The rotation is fine.
Yeah.
It's not like when they used to
I mean,
trot
it's not
out
that bad.
Cole and Verlander and McCullers. It's not formidable, but it's not bad. Framber Valdez is in a contract year.
Yep.
Hunter Brown, we've seen it.
Yeah, Hunter Brown has it in him.
Yeah.
He's got to do
Ethan.
the thing. Hello, Ethan.
I didn't know we were filming.
We just
I thought
shouted
we
you
were-
out for your tortellini making
yeah?
skills.
Yeah, it's pretty fire.
It was pretty fire.
Yeah. How are we doing? What
Good.
are
We're
we-
talking
what
about
are
the
we talking-
Astros.
I don't know shit about shit, so I'm gonna leave.
That was funny.
That was funny.
Hunter Brown has the making to be a stud. Like, he could be a number one pitcher.
Yeah, he could.
And it could happen as soon as this year.
Uh-huh.
Didn't Ronel Blanco throw a no-hitter?
He did. It was like his first ever start too, or like second.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Fine. And then we've got Spencer Arrighetti and Hayden Wesneski, who you previously mentioned. Like, fine.
Yeah,
I feel like
exactly.
this team
Fine.
is a starting pitcher or two away. I'm gonna sneeze.
Let it rip.
Maybe I'm not gonna sneeze.
No, maybe not.
They're a
The old
starting
hezzy?
pitcher.
Okay.
They're a starting pitcher or two away in the summer for like making a run, because the group's not very deep.
Yeah. Yep. The bullpen's fine.
Bullpen's fine.
Brian Abreu and Josh Hader are pretty good.
Traded away Ryan Presley.
Taylor Scott's solid. Caleb Ort can throw baseballs.
He was horrible with the Red Sox, but he was really good with the Astros.
Yeah. He's projected to have a 0 WAR, which is interesting. But oh wait, I think I'm looking at the wrong person. Oh no,
No,
not.
he is.
No. All right, well,
Relievers don't really accumulate that much value.
yeah, I know, but 0 is pretty funny.
So I think we can move through these teams pretty quickly, especially talking through the Astros. We kind of have to talk about them in the context of the Rangers,
Yeah.
because they're going to kind of be right next to each other. So let's go to the Rangers and
Let's
just
do it.
see if we can make something out of this this Texas hodgepodge.
This lineup, when I look at the Rangers lineup, it like kind of like is in my face more with like this team is gonna mash.
I think this is the best lineup in the American League.
It screams like this team is awesome.
Yeah.
At me, or this lineup is awesome.
We got Jock. We got Jake Berger in there to play first base.
Mm-hmm. Great addition.
We got Higgy,
Yep, Higgy's fine.
backup catcher.
Jonah Heim.
Jonah
Oh,
Heim's
you're
starting
going through additions. Yeah.
And then we got
Fine.
a lot of relievers. Like Chris Martin's in there. Jesse Chavez is in there, but he'll be on the Braves in August. They got Sean Armstrong. Like, they kind of brought in an older group of pitchers, and they didn't make any big moves with the pitchers other than bringing Evaldi back,
Yeah.
who also still fits into that older group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this lineup is great. They've got a tremendous mix of established talent with Seager and Simeon and Jock, and they have Evan Carter, who's on his way up. Wyatt Langford, I think, is going to be the best out of that group.
Yeah.
Last year, he
certainly
showed
could be.
signs of being like an all-star caliber player.
Yeah.
And Josh Young kind of showed signs of almost being an all-star caliber player his rookie year before he got hurt.
I think he's pretty much up to the standard of Wyatt Langford. I mean, obviously they're polar opposite players, but like he showed flashes of being amazing.
Yeah, those three guys are all like they should all be quality major league regulars this year.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think-
Absolutely.
I'm gonna drink in the middle of myself.
All right.
To the family. I think that puts this team over the hump,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it puts them ahead of the Astros. Not by
Mhm.
much. Maybe it only comes down to like 3 or 4 wins.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the consistency of this lineup puts them over the hump.
The problem with this team is their pitching.
Yeah.
And when before the offseason, when you look at this team, you already saw the hitting ability. Like, it was already there, and they added on that, which is great. But they didn't touch the pitching enough. You have Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker will be up. But John Gray's still hanging around. Tyler Molly's still hanging around. Like, these guys are fine, but I see the potential for something similar to what the Diamondbacks had last year, where the team mashes and then the pitching just can't get it done. And when your closer, is Chris Martin, not great.
39-year-old Chris Martin.
Not great.
My thing with the pitching is it looks like it's the problem until it's not. Like, if we get healthy Jacob deGrom innings and we get Leiter and Rocker getting their feet wet, this rotation is no longer a problem.
Right.
This rotation is scary.
Yeah.
But deGrom's health is far from a sure thing.
Yep.
And Rockers look better than Leiter, but both of their standings in Major League Baseball are also far from a sure thing.
Yeah.
So the Rangers have the chance to be really, really good, but they kind of just have to see how this all feels out. And if their marginal relief additions work out. I think they have good depth in their bullpen, but the thing with having a lot of depth is sometimes if you ask that depth to do too much, it's going to struggle.
Yeah.
Which could be possible with this pitching staff.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Their bullpen had struggles last year, and they lost their closer.
And Kirby Yates was tremendous last year.
Yeah. All right, excuse that if you can hear it, but
Children in the pool next to
yeah,
us. I think I like the Rangers. I think ahead of the Astros right now because I kind of believe in the Rangers pitching.
Yeah.
And their lineup is deeper.
I finished a rough draft for my win projections for next year. And as of right now, I have the Rangers at 84, but I think I'm going to tick that up a little bit.
I think they'll win more games than that.
Because I have it there for a similar reason to what we were talking about with the Twins, where the lineup looks super, super good.
Yeah.
And the pitching looks solid, but you know that there is a huge downside for a lot of these guys, especially when their average starting rotation age is 33 as of right now.
Yeah, they are old.
And we know what their bullpen was like last year, and because of what you talked about with, there's a lot of unsure factors here. I can't put them above 86 or 87. But
yeah, because I guess even when they won the World Series, they only won 90 or 92 regular season games.
I don't even think it was that. I think it was 80. Yeah, I think it was in the 80s. Yeah, let me see if Fangraphs.
They were not very good last year because of all of the health problems.
Yeah. 2023 Texas Rangers record. 90 and 72.
90 and 72.
So they did win 90.
The Astros also went 90 and 72. That's kind of what I think is going to happen this year.
Yeah,
but it could be 88.
Yeah,
88
I think it's going to be
88
closer to 87, 88 for both teams. But it's hard to shape that out when you have so many. The Mariners could win a ton of games because their pitching is so good, which we'll touch on later. And the A's are sneaky, and then the Angels actually made some decent moves. So we'll talk about these teams in a second. And actually, we'll talk about the Mariners right now.
Yeah, we will. They didn't do anything.
No, what are we doing?
So the Mariners have the best rotation in baseball.
Yep.
They have some pretty exciting prospects, a good crop of exciting prospects. But they're in the window where the pitching is young and it's healthy and it's dominating. And we didn't make any moves. We didn't make any additions. Julio Rodriguez had a down year. Yeah. He's great. I think he still will be great. I'm not worried about him. As far as catchers go, Cal Raleigh is almost as good as it gets.
Yeah.
He's played one of the best catchers in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have the embarrassment of riches that is the Mariners rotation, you are probably very upset at how the rest of the offense looks.
Yeah, I mean, I think 2 through 4 in the lineup is above MLB average.
Yeah, Randy's solid.
And then you go to Luke Raley, Mitch Haniger, J.P. Crawford, Jorge Polanco, and Ryan Bliss.
Ryan Bliss, Brewster Whitecap. Sorry.
Good for him. Anyways, I mean, I don't even know who Ryan Bliss is, to be completely honest. I think he had a card in MLB The Show. That's why that name rings a bell.
He was on the Brewster Whitecaps.
And he was on the Brewster Whitecaps. But, like...
He played a little for them last year at second base.
Like...
I don't think that his hitting is going to be there. J.P. Crawford's hitting is, like, been there sometimes-ish.
See, that's the thing, is, like, all these guys have had, like, solid seasons at best. Mitch Haniger had, like, a solid season in 22 or 23.
Pitching
J.P.
against
Crawford,
this lineup, though, like, I feel like for a major league pitcher is not...
Scary.
Is not super scary.
And, I mean, Julio Rodriguez is pretty much going to get pitched around because...
Yeah.
You know, you just go after Victor Robles. And then you pitch around Julio a little bit. I mean, you don't really want him to get on base because he'll steal, but...
If J-Rod's hot,
like,
you just pitch around him. If Raleigh's hot, you just pitch around him.
Yeah.
Everyone else is probably not going to kill you that much.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, also, that's the other thing, like, it would be a different thing if there were people in this Mariners lineup, like, that we could predict to have a breakout season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're coming, they're on the up and up, kind of like what we could do with Wyatt Langford.
Right.
But there's no one in this lineup that's going to do that.
No. And
they're all still in the minor leagues.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't really... They do have some guys who can make a bang.
A lot of these prospects, though, aren't bat first.
Yeah.
They're glove first prospects.
Yeah, because I guess
like
Cole Emerson is glove first, isn't
athlete first. Feldman Celestin is kind of a speed first guy. Barry Ford's a catcher. He's probably the best hitter out of the group, and he's a catcher.
he? Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand any of what they did in the offseason. I mean, their best bat that they picked up was probably Rowdy Tellez.
Or Donovan Solano.
Maybe Donovan Solano, yeah. It's like so frustrating. I can't imagine being a fan. I'm sorry if you're a fan, because that is infuriating to watch your team have a wide open gap and it doesn't get addressed at all.
Also, George Kirby's starting the season on the IL. So...
Not great, but like
Emerson Hancock will be the fifth man in the rotation.
Yeah, as if that's such a tragedy.
Yeah, the rotation's going to be what it is, and the bullpen
has Andres Munoz, who hits 103 and has 2 off speeds at like 94.
On paper, it doesn't look great, but the Mariners play in that big park where it's impossible to go deep.
Yeah,
and they clearly can develop solid pitching, so
yeah.
it's gonna get put together.
100%.
But the offense might not. I mean, they've only made the playoffs once with this kind of group, right?
Yeah.
And the offense, I think
they
able
lost
to carry this
guys.
group.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know.
a shame.
It's a real shame.
How about the Sacramento Athletics?
Let's talk about them. Abbreviated ATH now.
ATH,
I don't
yeah.
really like that. This team is sneaky.
They did some things.
They just extended Lawrence Butler, and he kind of got paid. They kind of pulled an Atlanta Braves
over the winter too.
They also extended Brent Rooker, which was great. JJ Bleday is playing good baseball. Shea Langoliers is playing solid baseball. Tyler Soderstrom is okay. And then Geloff, Seth Brown, Gio Urshela, and Jacob Wilson round out the lineup. Jacob Wilson's awesome. He's really fun to watch play. He's like, what's his face? Luis Ariz, if like he was actually fun to watch.
Fast and good at infield.
All right, that's getting really frustrating. So this lineup is like nice, and it's got a whole lot of upside. It's got a whole lot of youth.
It's youthful.
And hold on, let me go check. They're top 100. They still have Nick Kurtz down there in the minors. He'll probably be down there for the entirety of this year, if I had to guess.
I would guess that too. He's on his way.
So, yeah, I mean, there's not too much to be like super excited about. I mean, this team is not gonna win 90 games probably.
No, but
I think their ceiling is probably like 84.
They could win 80 games.
They could definitely
they're
win 80
much more
games.
competitive than these past Athletics teams have been.
Absolutely.
And I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because they're setting themselves up to be
Mm-hmm.
more competitive and have kind of like a good core group when they get to Vegas.
Yeah. Once this team gets to Vegas, which could be a while because that stadium's probably going to take forever to be built.
Yeah.
But they will be exciting come that time, and
I hope so.
they'll be willing to spend more because they'll probably be making more, unless Fisher just continues to be
I don't
the
think that's
worst
the
person
goal,
ever.
though. I think the goal is to be able to spend more
Mhm.
to improve the on-field product.
Yeah.
For now, it's not quite there, but like we added a couple players. We extended our good homegrown players. I guess Brent Ricker's not homegrown, but like he popped there, which is huge. It's always a great sign when teams do that.
Yeah.
And like they did, Luis Severino got 3 years for $75 million.
Yeah.
Like
Luis-
they handed out some money,
Yeah. And he's still 31. He's not like extremely old.
and he's not bad. He did not have a bad year. He had some up and downs with
Huh?
the Yankees, but he had a solid year last year.
a really good year
Earned
last
his
year.
money.
Yeah, he developed a lot of pitches. Serves as a good like frontline starter for more than just his pitching ability. I think he's going to be a pretty good leader for that team, and for the young guys coming up, he'll be good. Jeffrey Springs was solid with the Rays, I believe.
I think he had a major injury.
Yeah, he
over
did
the
have a
past
big
couple
time
years.
injury, but I think he'll be fine. I think it was TJ. And then, I mean, the rest of the rotation's pretty bad, if we're being honest. JP Sears, Mitch Spence, and Osvaldo Bido are names that are not even close to household, and I don't expect them to be household by the end of the year.
Yeah,
But, I mean-
they're also kind of like those guys are older. They might be fillers for the time being.
Yeah,
The Sacramento pitching staff might look different than the Las Vegas pitching staff a
Sure.
couple years from now.
sure.
But I'm cool with the A's did. They were fun to watch last year too, even when
Yeah.
they were bad, because
Mhm.
Lawrence Butler plays with flair, and Esteury Ruiz will run his little self all around the outfield.
Sure will.
Brent Rooker hits some bombs. Like they're putting together a solid product, which
Yeah.
at this stage in the franchise's positioning, I think that's the most you can ask of them.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, they signed Jose Leclerc too in the bullpen. They got Mason Miller, who's probably a top
Miller's
3-4 closer in baseball.
I hope they don't trade him.
Me too. Me too. But we'll see.
We'll see. No playoffs for them.
No playoffs, but fun.
Yeah.
And honestly, that if you're an A's fan, that's kind of the sacrifice that I think you should be willing to make.
Just be excited for the future.
Yeah.
And be excited by your current young players.
Yeah.
Speaking of young players, not on the Angels.
Nope.
They got a bunch of old guys that are on the back ends of their career.
Yeah.
They added Kyle Hendricks and Yusei Kikuchi to their rotation, who have a combined age of 106. Kenley Jansen combined with himself is 105
Yep.
as their closer. They have Yohan Moncada to play third, who has not been good in a couple years.
No, he really wasn't ever
Do
really
they have
that
him
good.
logged in as a starter there?
They do at
All right.
number 5 in the lineup.
Jorge Soler is a solid ad.
Yeah,
He can still hit.
he'll hit bombs, and that's about
Travis
all. he'll do.
Darno is a solid ad.
Yeah,
They got Kevin Newman and Tim Anderson in the infield. They also have Zach Neto, who's actually good.
yeah,
Besides all the additions, Mike Trout is moving to right field, which I think is the kind of the big news for this team.
yeah.
Try and save him off his feet a little bit, get him more comfortable. They're trusting Joe Adell to be an everyday center fielder, which I think with the glove is okay. With the bat, it's a little scary
Yeah.
because it just hasn't happened. The Angels are fine. They're not good.
They'll play some baseball.
I don't like their rotation a lot. Yusei Kikuchi was solid last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's not an ace, especially he's going to be 34. He's going to turn 34 this season. Tyler Anderson, they signed him to a decent amount of money last year. He was not good.
No,
He was good on the Dodgers and bad on the Angels.
shocker.
Kind of no surprise there. They
Yeah,
have Kenley and Ben Joyce, which I think is kind of a good mix at the back of the bullpen.
Brock Burke is cool too.
Kenley will get his job done, I think. Like, when he was with the Red Sox, he would get his job done a decent amount. He's getting older. I don't have much to say. They're going to win 70-something games just like they have for the past bunch of years. How many games did they win last year?
63.
Oh, they were really bad.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be that bad.
I don't think they'll be that bad either. I mean, Trout, I am going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he'll play 100 games this year.
I'd give him the benefit of the doubt, too.
I can't imagine he'll have another season-ending injury. Nolan Shanuel is exciting. I really like Logan O'Hoppe a lot. Moncada is fine.
Zach Netto's hurt.
Zach Netto's hurt, but he'll be fine, I think.
He got shoulder surgery
last
in
November. So I think he'll be fine.
He's on his way
weeks
back.
into the season.
Yeah.
Zach Netto is very exciting. He'll replace
good.
Kevin Newman once he gets back.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll add some flair to the lineup.
For sure.
But, I mean, Rengifo is fine. Ward is all right.
It looks like Rengifo's about to be a free agent, too.
Are they going to cut him?
No, he's just got 5 years of service time on here.
Oh, like after the season?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, Darno will be a nice, like...
I like the
It
Darno
would be nice
addition.
to allow Logan O'Hoppe to, like, have a break.
Uh-huh.
Because he's had some injury problems, too.
And you don't want to put too much pressure on him as a young catcher. Darno's been doing it a while. It's probably actually... We probably learn a lot from him.
Yeah.
And I think Logan O'Hoppe has a chance to be one of the better catchers in baseball.
Yeah.
He just hasn't been able to get his feet wet in the right way with this team.
Right. I think we see the same story with Mickey Moniak. I can't imagine Joe Adell is going to start more games than Moniak by the end of the year.
Especially against righties.
They'll probably platoon them a little bit,
Right.
but Moniak's bat is significantly better, I think, even though he's projected to not be better, but I think he was last year.
Joe Adell got hot at the end of last year.
Okay.
For like a
I think
little bit.
Moniak did the opposite.
I think you're right.
Because he started off
Really good.
raging hot. But yeah, I mean, this team is going to win 70-something games. They're going to have 4 guys go down on injury on the same day because they have tragic accidents like that.
Yep.
And then Kyle Hendricks is going to give up 14 runs in an inning and a half. And then
No.
it's going to be one of those Angels days. And then all is going to be right in the world, unfortunately, for Angels fans.
Yeah. So basically, as we transition from the AL to the NL, the Astros are still good, but they're not the Astros of old, we think. The Rangers could be great if their pitching goes, but there are just a lot of question marks about that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Those two teams should probably both be in the playoffs.
Yeah, and the others probably
The Mariners have a chance, but their offense has to get really lucky.
Yeah.
The Athletics are fun, and the Angels are not. The National League.
The Dodgers.
The Dodgers. All right, on to not the Dodgers. I'm kidding.
Satan,
But
essentially.
we don't have to spend that much time talking about the Dodgers. They have every baseball player that you could ever want.
Pretty much.
Shohei is back to pitching and hitting. And he's going to be part of a rotation that has Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Roki Sasaki, fellow Japanese members. And then Tyler Glasnow is there.
Doug Glasnow was there.
Duster May is going to get involved and back healthy, I think.
Hopefully.
They signed Blake Snell. Who else do they have? They've got a bunch of young guys, too. But they don't need any of them.
Yoshinobu, we already got those right.
A lot of them are injured. Maybe
Yeah.
Clayton
Oh
Kershaw
my
might be
Lord,
back at some
they're
point.
all injured. Yeah, they have pretty much like a solid MLB caliber starting rotation injured, with that being Tony Gonsolin, Clayton Kershaw, River Ryan, Emma Sheehan, and Gavin Stone. And then their bullpen's looking rough on the IL to start the year too, with
but
Bruce
also-
Starr, Kopech, and Phillips. But yet they still
They
have
signed Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates,
Yes.
who were basically the two. I don't know if they were like the two best relief pitchers on the board, but they were kind of the best free agent, like the free agent relievers that had the best 2024 seasons.
Yeah, probably.
Them and Jeff Ohm.
Yeah.
So
So there's that.
there's that, and then the lineup is the lineup. We'll just talk about the guys and move on. It is something to note that they are older.
Yeah. Wow, they
Freddie
actually
Freeman's
will
30,
have,
35.
come opening day, they will have one starter under 30 years old.
Muncie's 35. Mookie's 32, it says. Yeah, 32. Teoscar's 32.
Florida's 32.
So I think if anything doesn't go amazing for this Dodgers team, it's their hitters showing some signs of age.
Yeah.
They still have enough depth. Like, they signed Michael Conforto even after they have Edman that can play center and Andy Pages and James Outman that can play in the outfield too.
Yeah.
And Chris Taylor, who can play anywhere. We got Miguel Rojas, who can play in the middle infield when Mookie's not at short or Tommy Edman's not at short or second. They're going to be good. They should win over 100 games and kind of have the best season out of anyone because they've set their team up for it.
Yeah. I will say, like, when I was doing my win projection thing and I was looking at all these lineups, I kind of took notice to the lineup a little bit, and I was kind of a little bit surprised at how non-dominant it looks from, like, a first glance. Like, Muncie isn't amazing anymore. He's still a great player, but and then Will Smith is kind of hot and cold. He's still probably a top 3 or 4 catcher in baseball ish.
I think around the, like around
4
there.
to 6
I
kind of
would say
range.
Top 5 is probably a sure thing.
Yeah.
Or so.
But like Edman's kind of uncertain sometimes. He's obviously way better against lefties. James Outman, I don't think is a surefire MLB player quite yet.
I think so.
Chris Taylor they have on the bench. They have Kike Hernandez on the bench. And then I don't know where Andy Pages is on here, but he's somewhere around.
No,
he's not hurt. I think they have him in AAA.
Well, you also, and we can move off the Dodgers after this, but like, yeah, AAA. You've got to think about how tough the top 3 is.
See, that's the thing.
Like, these are 3 of the 10 best hitters in all of Major League Baseball.
When you start the lineup with Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman, that's really, really scary, especially with Shohei Ohtani, because he's by far the best hitter on the planet. Well, not by far, but he is probably the best overall hitter on the planet, and he is terrifying.
Yeah, he is.
And my Mac is on 10%. All right. But yeah, I mean, Teoscar is going to hit balls out. All these guys are going to be super good, and then their bullpen's just amazing. Vecchia was probably the most underrated reliever in baseball last year.
Yeah,
Anthony Bonda was super really cool in the playoffs. Even like Ben Kasparius is good. Blake Trinan is like, his pitches are unbelievable. To quote Trevor May, he is like the nectar of the gods. And I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then they've got all these guys that are on the IL right now, but they're coming off, like Kopech and Phillips and Gratterall. Phillips. So yeah, there's that. The Dodgers are going to win close to 100 games, and they're going to make it look easy unless all goes wrong, like Ohtani gets hurt, that's good, gets hurt. But
let's move towards
D-backs.
the desert. The D-backs, so they missed the playoffs last year with the best offense in Major League Baseball. They scored the most runs. They lost Christian Walker, who hit 3rd for them. They lost Jock Peterson, who hit 4th for them. Actually, maybe that's 5th, but you get it. They traded for Josh Naylor to kind of replace some of that thump in the middle of the lineup. Ketel Marte almost won MVP.
He probably would have if he played all 162.
Corbin Carroll had a little bit of a down year, which I don't think I'm too worried about. Some of his batted ball data, like, he doesn't make the best quality contact.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of the guys that kind of play like he does don't do that.
Yeah.
And they're able to make it work just with their hitting tool and their ability.
And his speed.
Yeah, he is so fast. They signed Corbin Burns, which I know we talked about when they did it. To have Corbin Burns and Zach Gallen at the top of your rotation is very serious.
Yeah. The rest of it, rotation-wise, is fine.
Yeah, it's not bad. Merrill Kelly, Eduardo Rodriguez, Brandon Fott. Do they have depth there? I'm
Um,
trying to think. It's not jumping out at me. Not
no,
really.
I don't think so.
They don't have a lot of pitching depth. Their bullpen is really good. I think this is one of the more underrated bullpens, even though they lost Paul Sewald. They traded for A.J. Puck, and he was really good. Justin Martinez could become a legit closer.
He's super cool.
And then what we saw them do in the 2023 playoffs, where they would just come from like all different angles and bring in different guys to give different looks. Like Kevin Ginkel was a big part of that. He's still here. Ryan Thompson, Joe Mantiply were big parts of that. They're still here.
They're like here and here.
Yeah, and Justin Martinez is from down here too, right?
He's like here, but like it's like weird. Like he's like super stiff, and he just
Yeah,
and then it's 100.
Their ability to give off different looks is awesome. I don't know what went wrong with it last year to where they didn't pitch their way into the playoffs, but they could be a playoff team this year pretty easily, I think, because their position player group doesn't have that many holes.
No, not really.
Like they've got solid,
and they've got some depth too.
They've got solid big leaguers at every spot.
Yeah, except for Pavin Smith. What are we doing here?
Yeah, but like Pavin Smith is right now the DH against righties. They have Randall Grichuk to platoon that. They also have Alec Thomas, who can play center field, and Jake McCarthy can either move off center, or one of them can play left, and Lourdes can DH. Gabby Moreno I like a lot behind the dish. He had some injury troubles last year. Eugenio Suarez, you kind of know what you're going to get.
Pretty much.
He's going to hit okay and field okay, and if you do that and stay healthy, then you appreciate it.
Yep.
Geraldo Perdomo, one-time All-Star, solid shortstop. They just extended him.
Yeah.
And also Jordan Lawler should be up this year.
Yeah.
And I don't really know.
That will be really exciting.
I don't really know where they're going to place him.
I think you probably move Perdomo to third and move Suarez into the DH.
Yeah, that might be the move. Because I think I like Lawler a lot. I think he's going to be capable of contributing to this team right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Diamondbacks look good.
The outlook
they
for
look
this
like
team
a
is
playoff
really
team. They also could, like, there is a world where the wheels kind of fall off this team, and you're kind of just like, what happened? But it's not really as much of a what happened, because it's like you kind of saw it coming. But
I don't see it coming.
I don't really think they're gonna lose more than 80 games.
No, they'll be over
like
500.
They should be a surefire over 500 team, and they should be an almost surefire playoff team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, with this front line starting and a really solid bullpen, I think this lineup's going to come together. I don't think Carroll's going to have any sort of repeated failures from last year.
Yeah, no, I think he'll be good.
So, yeah, I like what they got going on. I like the youth. I like the excitement. I think it'll be fun.
I think this next team is the most conflicted that I've been on a team.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Because they weren't very good last year. This is the San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
They weren't very good last year. They still lost a decent amount. But if you look at them on paper...
Well, you say they weren't very good, but they won 93 games.
The Padres won 93 games last year?
Yeah.
I guess I was thinking of whatever year it was that they were disappointing.
Yeah, I think that was the year before. I think they won like 86 the year before.
Yeah. But like, this team is really good. They're very top heavy.
Yeah.
Like incredibly top heavy.
Yeah. Oh my God. This team falls off a cliff.
Tatis is a stud. Merrill is a stud. We know what we're getting from Manny.
Yep.
We know what we're getting from Luis Ariz, whether you like it or you don't.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't. I mean, I see the value in it, even though he produces no value.
He produces singles and no stolen bases, so that brings
and
no
defense.
value. And no defense.
Bogey dealt with some injuries last year. I think he's not that old. He still has quality baseball in him.
Yeah, but it's going to be hard to get back to his contract value.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't think he's going to make his contract value. I think it's also tougher on him that he has to go back to playing shortstop unless they work it out with Jose Iglesias and he makes the team.
Hey, Jose Iglesias is awesome.
He is awesome.
I think the Padres are so weird, man. They're starting to kind of age a little bit because Manny, you're seeing signs of it. I think Cronenworth will start seeing signs of it this year, and Xander, we're starting to see signs of it as well. And then right now they have Iglesias in the DH spot, which I think is pretty much the right move with what they got going on the bench. And their starting left fielder is Jason Hayward, and their starting catcher is Elias Diaz. That's really bad. That's really bad. And I said it earlier in one of our other episodes, like, you let Higashioka go, and now you have no catcher option unless you want to go to Campusano, or unless you just want to wait for Salas to get up. But that'll be a while.
Yeah, it won't be this year, I don't think. This team could just win 93 games again if they get a huge bounce back year from Fernando.
Yeah.
Like if Tatis is like 2021, Tatis on the offensive side of the ball, then the losses of Profar and Ha-Sung Kim are going to hurt way less.
Yeah.
So I think they're still capable of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's really just the loss of those two guys that bring a lot of fire out of this lineup. Like Profar was kind of the saving grace for them last year.
He was the steadiest force.
He pretty much led the team to like all their really, really good offensive production. And then, I mean, hold on, let me go to their losses real quick. They lost Tanner Scott, which was their frontline bullpen arm, essentially.
We'll get to their bullpen. I think it's still good.
Yeah, I totally agree it's still good, but losing Tanner Scott is a big-time hit. And even, like, David Peralta had a really a good
he was still
back
job,
end with them, and they lost him. So, offensively, they'll be fine. I think
I don't really...
They have a lot of big names, but I don't really love any of them except for Tatis. And Merrill. Merrill will be a stud this year. He's also 22, so he will be a stud for a while. But
the rotation is good. It's scary.
Oh my God, Stephen Kolek.
They have Dylan Cease and Michael King, who were both fantastic last year, and they're both on contract years.
Yeah.
And we know that the Padres are having trouble coming up with funds to pay guys at this point. So trading one of those two is always on the horizon a little bit.
100%.
Yu Darvish is old. He's still not bad. He's not like he used to be. He's old. Nick Pivetta is, you kind of are going to get what you're going to get. He's competitive. He gives up a decent amount of hard contact. But some days he'll go out there and kind of look like the best pitcher alive. Stephen Kolek at the 5 spot. This is kind of where you see the fact that the Padres don't have
funds,
ample money. And they lost Joe Musgrove to Tommy John, which is really tough.
He probably won't pitch this year.
The bullpen is good.
The bullpen is good. The bullpen is probably
don't have to worry about the bullpen.
The brightest light on this team because it's deep. They have Robert Suarez, who is electric. They have Jason Adam, who is a surefire, really good reliever.
He has been for a few years.
Jeremiah Estrada burst onto the scene last year with that splitter, and it is gross. And it's going to continue to be gross this year. He's really good. And even, like, names like Adrian, I don't even know how to pronounce that last name, Morejon. Yuki Matsui is solid. They have Alex Jacob on here, who I think is a lot better than his projected WAR shows. But, like, that's already 6 relievers deep in the bullpen. That's a very, very deep bullpen.
Yeah. It's a formidable group.
Brian Hoeing has shoulder soreness right now, but he'll be back in there at some point. So I really like what they got going on.
So did you put the Padres ahead of the Diamondbacks, or did the Diamondbacks ahead of the Padres in your little
I think
draft?
I have them tied. I do have them tied.
And I kind of think that's the right place to land.
Yeah. I have them both at 86 and 76. I don't think I'm as high on the Diamondbacks as you are offensively.
Yeah, because they did lose a lot of thump in the middle of their lineup. And they only replaced it to a certain extent. Like,
Right.
I don't think Christian Walker by himself hit better than Josh Naylor last year, but Jock Peterson sure did. Yeah.
But the Padres lost so much too, so it's like I am not expecting the Padres to win 90 games this year.
I don't think so either.
I would be pretty surprised if they did, and I think if they did, it comes from big years from Tatis and Merrill, and then
health from everybody else. Basically.
Exactly, pretty much. And yeah, I have both these teams at 86, which is a smooth 12 games behind the Dodgers.
Moving to San Francisco, they've been in this limbo ever since they had their crazy breakout year in 2021. They've been in this limbo where they're not bad enough to be bad, but not good enough to really be that good. And I think this year they're still not good enough to really be that good.
Yeah.
But I like their group.
That's the thing, is I look at this team and I like the group. I just don't like it enough.
Yeah.
Starting with the lineup, you're leading things off with Lamont Wade Jr., which is not the greatest thing ever, but it's not the worst
His
thing
walk
ever.
rate is insane.
Is it really? Yeah. I haven't even
He's got
looked at
he's
his
got one of the
stats
best. He's got one of the best walk rates in baseball.
Yeah, so that's a great leadoff. Yeah. But you got Adames, you got Young Ho Lee, who should be good. You got Matt Chapman, who is one of the most underrated players in baseball, in my opinion. He's really, really good. So well-rounded.
Dependable.
Exactly, dependable. You got Heliot Ramos, who was good last year.
Really good year
you got Patrick Bailey, who is awesome to watch play catcher. I love Patrick Bailey. Much more so behind the dish than at the plate. At the plate.
In the plate.
Yeah.
In the box.
Yeah, in the box for sure. Anyways, Wilmer Flores is hitting 7th for them. That's a problem. Mike Yastrzemski is all right. He's 35 almost now.
Yeah, he's gotten old on us.
Wow. I did not know that. I guess he debuted at 29. Interesting. And then Tyler Fitzgerald is really fast. And that's...
this is a good group.
I know almost what they bring, but
they can defend pretty well. They've got some solid hitters. They don't have, barring a incredible season from Willie or Matt Chapman, they don't have a hitter to carry them.
That's the thing.
The Diamondbacks can get carried by Cattell a little bit.
Yeah.
The Padres can get carried by Fernando.
Yeah.
Or maybe even carried by Merrill or carried by Manny at times. I don't think... And Adames and Chapman are great. They're not really the type of hitters to, command an offense.
Yeah.
I think they're best suited when they're the second or third best hitter on the team.
Yeah. I might just be thinking this because of Willie Adames, but I see it a lot, but a little bit like a lesser version of last year's Brewers in this lineup.
Yeah.
Where you have Adames, Chapman, and Young Ho Lee, and you're like, oh, this is really exciting. And then the rest of the pieces just kind of fall in place. But with this team, I don't really see any that much fire coming from Bailey or Ramos or Flores offensively. Yeah. They'll play a role, but
Ramos has thump, but it was just inconsistent last year.
Yeah, and if God forbid somebody goes down on injury, then you got on the bench Sam Huff, Yerar, and Encarnacion, and Brett Wisely and Luis Matos. Not great.
Yeah, the depth isn't
good. The depth is not great.
The pitching depth is not great either.
They have Bryce Eldridge in the minors, who is really, really good and will be really, really good once he gets up, but he's got to get up first, and it probably won't be this year. I think this team should make some moves to get some more prospects, and hopefully they come up.
Yep.
But offensively, it's solid, and I like the group, but it's not enough to get the job done.
The pitching wise,
is similar.
Logan Webb is tremendous.
Yeah,
He's one of the
Logan
best
Webb's
pitchers in
really
Major League Baseball. He throws a ton of innings.
Yeah.
He gets a ton of outs. He throws a ton of strikes.
Yep.
Justin Verlander's old as dirt.
He's 42.
Robbie Ray he's maybe had one of the most up and down, peak and valley careers that we've seen in our lifetime.
More valley than peak, but
yeah.
he does
Jordan
have a Cy
Hicks.
Young.
They tried out the Jordan Hicks starter experiment last year. It was okay.
It was really fun for like 5 weeks.
It was good enough to try it again.
Yeah.
And then Kyle Harrison, who was a year or two ago a really top prospect, is still finding himself a little bit.
He's only got a year at MLB service.
I think he's got the makings to be a solid MLB starter. I don't know if he's going to be like Logan Webb's number 2 guy.
Yeah.
But this is kind of the same thing as the position player group. Like, the rotation's okay, but in terms of trying to really move the needle and win 85-plus games or make the playoffs, I think it just falls short.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then the bullpen's cool. They got Ryan Walker, who's cool.
He was really good last year.
His pitches do a lot of... Yeah. They're nasty. That two-seam and slider is insane. And then they got Tyler Rogers.
Tyler Rogers is the one that throws from all the way down this way.
And then they got Camilo Doval, who throws a million miles an hour, but somehow gets rocked.
Complete breakdown last year.
Yeah. And then they got Sean Hagel, who throws from the moon.
Well, because he's 7 feet tall.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
This bullpen's thin.
It's thin. It's fun-ish because you got
a couple good guys.
The highest and lowest release point in all of baseball.
Yeah.
And then you got Ryan Walker, and you got Camilo Doval, and then what else?
That's kind of it.
Thanks, Giants.
You're cool.
But not cool enough.
I don't know, I want to like the Giants more than I'm able to. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know, they feel so centrally.
Yeah.
They feel so centrally.
The Rockies.
The Rockies.
They're more fun this year.
Are they fun?
They're more fun.
They're kind of just the Rockies.
I mean, they're kind of the Rockies, but they're the Rockies with Brenton Doyle, Nolan Jones, and Jordan Beck, and Zach Heene coming up.
And Zeke Tovar is kind of the man, too.
Zeke Tovar is good, but he swings at everything, and he's going to turn into Javier Baez this year.
He doesn't walk.
Chris Bryant is a sad story.
It is.
Michael Toglia is awesome. I don't know if you paid attention to him, but he
hit some pretty serious bombs last year, right?
Yeah, he hits the ball hard, and I think he's going to be a lot better than the .3 WAR that Fangraphs is projecting for him.
I'm worried about the young guys on this team, like Tolia and Jordan Beck and Nolan Jones a little bit, even though we've seen him be okay. I'm worried about them just becoming complete wastes on defense.
Yeah.
And just having this team have some elementary struggles with playing sound baseball.
Yeah. I could see that. Look, the Rockies are very angel-y, where you're like, okay. I mean, you don't hate this group, but you know they're going to win 65 games.
Yeah. The pitching is atrocious.
The pitching is so bad.
I think I just took a peek at the rotation. I think it's the worst in baseball.
Yeah, when you play in the least pitcher-friendly ballpark in all of baseball, and you run out German Marquez as your ace
for the 8th year in a row.
Yeah, and you follow it up with Ryan Feltner and Kyle Freeland and Antonio Senzatella and Bradley Blaylock. That is not a name in my book. I don't know if it is in yours.
And none of these bullpen names are really too deep in my book either.
Yeah, I think really the only ones that I really know are Victor Vodnik,
Scott Alexander. Been for a while. I think that's the same Diego Castillo that was on the Braves. Remember, with the big head?
Yeah. 68? Yeah, that is the Diego Castillo. And Austin Gomber's there. He kind of saved the season for the Mets last year because
his wife makes good Instagram reels.
Facts. She does.
The Rockies are the worst team in the league. Well, no,
No.
not the league. The Rockies are the worst team in the West, is what I meant to
Yeah.
say.
They have Chase Dollander in the minors. They have Charlie Condon, who went to my high
prospects.
school.
That's good.
So there's
Shout
that.
out to the Walker School.
Shout out to the Walker School where wonders await.
But like,
My computer's gonna die.
they're gonna have to score 7-8 runs a game, and this group's not gonna do that.
They're not gonna do that.
They're not gonna do that. They're gonna struggle.
They're gonna struggle a lot. They're gonna be an easy team to beat. They're gonna get weird and start 8-5 because they do that every year for some reason. And everybody's like, "Oh, here comes the Rockies," and then they lose.
Those are the Wests, though.
Those are the West.
Got it all into 55 minutes or so.
Yeah. Yeah. No Lynx update this week.
Yeah, it's not going so hot. But we're gonna right the ship.
We
starting
are
tomorrow.
We are gonna steer the ship.
We're having a good time in Florida. Spirits are high.
Spirits are high. Vibes are high.
Vibes are high.
And thanks.
And yeah, there will be a good Lynx update next week. I promise.
Come next Monday.
Thanks for listening.
3 more games.
Go Lynx.
Go Lynx.
Peace.
Thanks.